Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is just a quick channel update video followed by a recent Flat Earth debate that I took part in on the Plot Holes podcast. But before we get to the party, let's knock out the business. So as most of you know by now, my son and I got really sick recently and it put me out of commission for about the past 4 weeks. The first half was me taking care of my son as he was sick, and the second half was my son taking care of me as I was sick. During these weeks of rest and recovery, I've had a chance to reevaluate my channel and the direction I was taking it in. So moving forward, a few things are going to change. 1. Not as many Flat Earth videos. I know a lot of you guys are here because of the Flat Earth dumpster fire, and I completely understand because I love it myself. There's hardly anything as entertaining and free as watching a Flat Earther make a fool of himself and then be proud of it. It doesn't mean that I'm done with Flat Earth, but it does mean that it's time to address the other stupid people on Earth, including coronatards and COVIDiots, anti-vaxxers, moon landing and just plain moon deniers, and the rest of the conspiracy world. So I'm open to suggestions. What do you guys want to see? Leave me a message in the comments and I'll read as many of them as possible. Second, many of you guys are also unaware that my channel was recently hacked, or at least removed from my email address without my permission. This happened while I was sick, and to be honest with you, the stress really mounted and piled up on my shoulders. Every day I was emailing back and forth to YouTube, and to give them credit, they acted extremely fast to prevent malicious activity on my YouTube channel. I can't tell you guys how grateful I am that YouTube expedited this process and immediately returned my channel to me. However, in the process, 8 videos and around 15 to 20 live streams were deleted by YouTube. Now, I'm sure this was just a glitch. However, the support representative that was helping me said that those videos that were deleted were uploaded by the hacker, which they weren't. They were uploaded by me. Now, YouTube asked me not to upload any content until the ticket was resolved, but there hasn't been any resolution yet, which is completely understandable with the pandemic that's going on, but quite frankly, I'm tired of waiting. So I've requested that the support ticket be closed, and I'm just going to re-upload the videos. So I appreciate your patience while repetitive material is being uploaded along with the new material. And one small favor to ask of you guys, if you can just go give them a watch. Several of those videos had over 15,000 views and over 2,000 likes. I've lost all the comments from those videos as well. Honestly, the reality of the situation really left me in a dark place for these past 2 weeks. But have no fear. I'm really good at picking myself up and pushing forward. Now that my voice is 100% back and I'm almost back to full energy, I think it's time that I get back to doing what I love to do, which is making videos for you guys and myself to enjoy. Which brings me to my final point, and then I promise I'll start at this debate, which is the actual content. The idiot videos that you guys love so much are going to be seriously reduced. To be honest, the idiot videos are starting to feel like bean burritos to me. You know, 1 or 2 bean burritos a month will have you loving bean burritos, but eat a bean burrito 2 to 3 times a week, and they quickly start tasting like the devil's taint. So the number of idiot videos are going to drop, but the production value that goes into each one of those videos will go up. There will be at least 1 idiot video per month and will cover a truly deserving idiot. Also, random idiot videos will hit each month when a source video is so dumb, it demands it. Essentially, your idiot videos will no longer be your $100 entrees. They're now going to be your $1,000 desserts. It will free up more time for me to address more videos, a wider range of topics, and it will really put more value back into my dinger. As well as it will free me up to do more dumpster fire live shows and gaming live streams on my gaming channel. And finally, starting this summer, I will be hosting the first annual Debunkies, a quirky award show that will be driven by viewer participation. So stay tuned for more information coming up on that soon. Now that the business is over with, let's get to the actual party. And we're going to do that with this debate that I had on the Plot Holes podcast. Now this is only the first third of the debate, and to listen to the rest you'll need to head over to the Plot Holes website, www.rockmetaltalk.com. A link will be in the description. But without any more waffling, Let's begin.
I don't want to cloud your argument.
I mean, my favorite, you want me to go to my go-to then? You want me to go to like how I'm going to start somebody out that's really new, like little 101? Okay, so can we all agree that we see the same constellations night after night, year after year, century after century?
Yeah, we do. We see it. I mean, it rotates around us as we go around the sun, so that we see different constellations at different times of the day or night. But yeah.
Wait. You see, wait. Okay,
he's answering your question. Let him answer your question.
Well, it's just he already said some really dumb things. So, like he said that we see different constellations during the day and night, which is retarded.
Okay, so when we're on 6 months, when we're doing the, let's say the equinox, right? The autumnal equinox. When we do the autumnal equinox, the constellations that are at solar midnight will be the same constellations that will be at solar noon on the spring equinox. How do you explain that?
What I explain is what I said in the very beginning, which is that we see the same constellations night after night, year after year, century after century. Mm-hmm. They don't change their locations. You can still navigate using those. Sailors can still navigate using those now, some extent, like they did thousands of years ago.
Yeah, like
no, not to some extent.
Like
completely, yes. The North Star never moves. Yes,
right, because the North Star is almost direct. Well, that's a bad fucking. You want to talk about saying something stupid? What you just said was absolutely stupid, because I guess you don't actually pay attention to like nautical almanacs or anything like that. Stuff where the positions of stars are actually documented instead of you just watching a YouTube video or looking out in your petty 40 or 50 years that you've been alive on this earth thinking that you're supposed to see this massive change of fucking stars in the sky. Well, guess what? We've been doing this for centuries now and documenting them, and there is
no parallax. I know there is no parallax.
Yeah, you're not talking about parallax here. What we're talking about is position of the stars in the sky, and the North Star has moved. Okay, every night it moves a little. Yes, it does. It's been documented. Okay, you can deny it if you want, but that just makes you a denier.
It doesn't make me a denier because look at star trails.
Yeah, it is. No, it does. It makes you an absolute fucking denier. That's what it makes you. Because hey, are you? Hold on. Are you saying that the nautical almanacs are not saying that the stars move? Position.
I don't give a shit.
Oh, so okay, so exactly. There you go. You don't give a fucking shit because all you care about is your petty little existence and what that means to you, to your position in the universe at that time. Well, guess what? Nobody gives a shit about your petty little existence. Nobody cares about your petty little existence.
Can you tell me what
the entirety of humanity's scientific knowledge doesn't depend on when you were born and the day you die. We've been doing this for much further. No, I don't give a shit about your lack of knowledge about the scientific method. Let's stick to one topic.
I'm asking you if you know what it means.
Absolutely. I deal with bullshit-ass people like you all the time. So, yes, I do understand what the fucking scientific
You're adorable. You're adorable. Okay,
so
tell it to
back
me.
to your first stupid question.
It's
Hold
like
on.
4 words.
No, let's start with your
words.
first stupid question. We started by talking about the position of the stars in the sky, and then when I pointed out that you were wrong, now you want to jump to another one.
You talked about constellations during the day, dude.
Yeah, because they're up there during the day.
And
you understand why you don't see stars when you look at the sun, you dipshit?
Do you understand why you can see stars through the moon during the day?
Oh my God! You can see stars through the moon. Provide fucking proof of that. Any evidence?
Okay. It's called my eyeballs.
Your eyeballs, wow. You're about as dumb as they come. You're about as dumb as they come then. Okay, so let's go back to the North Star. How about that?
So let's go back to that claim about stars in the sky.
Let me ask you something. What was the North Star for the Egyptians during the time of, I believe, Cleopatra?
It was Polaris. It was Polaris.
That would be wrong.
No, that's not.
Yes, and it's documented.
No, it's not Thuban. That's nonsense.
So you just know better than all the Egyptian archaeologists and everybody who.
The pyramids still align with the constellations. Tell me how that works in a spinning ball Earth.
They still align with the constellations. That's a very vague claim that you just made.
The pyramids of Giza align with Orion's belt. Yeah, I know.
Orion's belt. That's completely different. Orion's belt. I'm not talking about Orion's belt here. Yeah, so let's say we have a frisbee and we tape 3 pennies to it, and they're all equidistant from each other.
Like on the top on
the top of it. We can hang them down on the inside. We can do whatever we want. But let's go ahead and just say.
Well, wait, Howard, you're saying that we're taping them, which would make them secured to it, correct?
Yes, yeah. So we are secured to the. We rotate with the rest of the stars through the galaxy. Okay, so it's the same thing with the frisbee. The stars that are the Orion's belt stars are relatively close to us. They're not far from us in galactic terms. They're relatively close. That's why we can see them really easily with our eyes. So that means that when we're moving, they're moving too. Now, if you and Johnny were sitting in 2 cars driving down the highway 60 miles an hour each in the same direction, you guys would look at each other and you would know you were moving because from the outside, you would see the land going by. But to the inside, you would always look like you're the same distance from each other. You would always look like you're not really moving relative to each other, but you are moving. You're moving relative to the environment around each other, but to each other, you're not. To each other, you're relatively still. Well, the stars move. We've tracked these. We've plotted them. We've documented them for centuries. Before you and I were ever even talking about this shit or even considering talking about this shit, there have been sailors that rely on stars that didn't have GPS, that had to write where the stars were and make maps and all this for future sailors because they didn't know GPS was coming and things of that nature. But look at what humanity has done over centuries and you'll see the stars move. And you can't deny that. Or you can if you want, but just denying it doesn't make it wrong.
The constellation patterns don't change.
What do you mean by that?
We have the same constellation. I mean, yes, the constellations are different depending upon the season.
Mm-hmm. Which is what I said at the beginning that you said was stupid. So again, how was I stupid? And you're correct here.
I don't remember exactly what your phrasing. It was your phrasing that I had an issue with. I think
my phrasing was that okay, but maybe you don't understand what equinoxes are then, because when I said the equinoxes, that's 2 distinct times when the Earth is directly in line with the sun, where we have exactly 1/2 of the northern hemisphere and 1/2 of the southern hemisphere lit up by the Earth at one time. So because of that, because I used those 2 actual positions in the orbit, they're exactly 6 months apart from each other. And if you go look at a calendar, you'll see that it's about March 21st and about September 22nd, I believe, or 23rd or something along that nature. Exactly 6 months apart from each other. And I said, in 6 months, the constellations that are at solar midnight, which means when the sun's on the opposite side, let's say you're laying with your back to the Earth, when the sun's on your ass side, what's in front of you is one set of constellation, and that's considered solar midnight. Now, once the Earth goes around 6 months later, and you're looking up at the stars at night, and the sun's still on your ass side, well, guess what? Those constellations that were at your solar midnight are now at your solar noon. Now what I said and you said was stupid was exactly what you said, just a little bit more with a little bit more explanatory power. Now, how was I stupid again? Mm-hmm. And you're not?
Look, here's what I'm saying is I don't think you're answering the question that I'm asking.
I just gave you the exact same fucking answer that you said. Okay.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying I don't think it's registering to you the question that I'm asking. I understand that you're parroting back things that you're used to saying. Look, I understand that you're used to saying these same things. I get that, but what I'm saying is, well, he just went off for like an hour. I don't get to like.
Hang a second. No. I'm not trying to stop you. I just, what is your specific question that he's not answering?
Well, what I'm saying is if we're going through infinite expanding space, and we have already agreed that the constellation patterns are the same depending upon the season. They're the same year after year. You can go out there, and sailors, as he said, sailors relied on those to navigate. So
no, they relied on the North Star to navigate. The North Star tells you what your latitude is in the northern hemisphere.
So you think that the constellations are different, then you think that they spread out.
I know that they're different every single night because all the stars are in motion, and while we might not be able to tell from here, when given enough time, you will see the stars move. The North Star moves. We'll have a different North Star in several thousand years. They had a different North Star several thousand years ago. These are just facts.
I mean, facts according to what?
Egyptian archaeologists.
What you know one of
Sailors'
them?
almanacs. I don't have to. That's what you just committed is what's called a genetic fallacy. Do you know what that is?
I mean, it sounds like some pseudoscience to me.
No, see, then you don't understand what pseudoscience is either. Then, okay.
Do you know what the scientific method is? Can you tell me what that is?
A genetic fallacy is when you say, when you go, "Hey, I don't believe you," and because I wasn't
because
there.
You have no proof,
or no, because I wasn't there, or you can't say, like if I do this well-documented scientific experiment and I submit it to you, and you go,
you keep saying the word scientific. I don't think you know what it means.
I'm going to just deny that because I wasn't there. That right there in itself is what's called a genetic fallacy, and that just means that you're denying it because of your own. What is the scientific method? Okay, you make an observation, you form a hypothesis, you test your hypothesis, and then you come to a conclusion.
Testable, observable, repeatable.
Wow, that's not the 4 steps in the scientific method. Did you not ask me what the 4 steps were in the scientific method? Now you're trying to turn around observable, testable, repeatable. Yeah, who's parroting what? And who doesn't know what they're talking about? Exactly. You don't. Stop trying to parrot what you find on YouTube and only speak on what you absolutely know.
On YouTube.
I guarantee you that everything you're saying right now is...
Wait, don't you have a YouTube? Oh, you guarantee
I'm not parroting anything off YouTube, am I?
Don't you have a YouTube channel?
Am I parroting anything off YouTube?
Aren't you a YouTube personality?
Dude, am I parroting anything off YouTube? You are.
There's a big difference. I talk to naval intelligence officers, by the way.
I was in the Navy, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. What do you have to say about that? All right, so you were talking to people in the Navy. I was in the Navy, and what's your next bullshit-ass point? I was a radar technician, and guess what? We have a radar horizon. Do you know why we have a radar horizon? Because there's something called the frickin' Earth that gets in the way. If we didn't have a fucking radar horizon, why can't we just see forever with radars? How about answer that?
Because radar doesn't go forever.
Oh, and you have evidence of that?
I mean, signal diminishes as it goes.
Oh, so you understand how radars work then? I was a radar technician. Do you want to talk about that?
That's
right. You don't. You're right. You don't want to get into any of this with me. I guarantee you, I'll make you look stupid. More stupid than I already have made you look. So what's your next point that you want me to school you on and make you look dumb at?
No, you haven't even addressed the first one yet.
You said stars don't move. You have no proof. You just said that. I told you that they do.
I told you it's been documented. Are the same.
Okay, and I told you it's been documented that it's different. Hold on. Be quiet. Let the adult talk.
I don't care about documented. I care about what's observable.
Let the adult talk, okay? That is observable. They observed it. They observed it, and they documented it. Yeah, I know, because I'm an adult, and you're the little child that doesn't know how to shut up and listen.
No, you're the one being a little baby dog.
They have documented it. Men have, okay? Not scientists, sailors, right? So we're supposed to believe your naval intelligence friend, but we can't believe all the thousands of sailors that prove you wrong? Go ahead, special plead your way out of that one. Go ahead. Tell me how it's okay for you to use your naval intelligence friend, but it's not okay for me to point out the thousands of sailors that have made these observations and documented them and published them hundreds of years ago. I'll wait for your answer.
I'm simply saying that...
Nothing intelligent? But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you with the funny joke.
I have a little bit of a headache now. I'm sorry.
I bet you do. Bet you weren't expecting this when you got into this conversation, were you?
Yeah, okay. All right, man. So here's the thing is, if you're in ever-expanding space, shit should change, and it doesn't.
Define ever-expanding space.
That's
and
what
defined why
if we're
it should
okay. So
change
think about
and how
so
it
think about
doesn't.
it like this. So think about it like this. So think about like if you're driving through a city that
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. Let me put on my retard cap so I can understand what you're saying. Go ahead now. I got it on.
Okay, cool. Okay, so if you're driving through a city, right, and you're perpetually driving through this city, and it's a giant city, and it's massive, like outer space, right? Supposedly, like outer space supposedly is. Okay, so if you're driving through the city and you keep seeing the same lights night after night, year after year, eventually you're going to think, I'm on some kind of a loop. I'm going in a fucking circle. I'm fucking stuck. I'm in the same place. This shit is moving around me. I'm not going through anything.
Okay. If you were on a merry-go-round and you were spinning on that merry-go-round and you spun on it for years, how long would it take you to get to be separated from the horses that are next to you? Or from what carousel, not a merry-go-round, a carousel, let's say.
The horse that I'm sitting on?
But we'll just say you're standing in the carousel at any point. You're standing in the carousel. How far away are the horses? How long is it going to take for the horses to get far away from you?
They'll stay exactly in the same spot. They're fixed.
There you go.
Have you ever heard of the Michelson-Morley experiment?
Yep.
Well, I just have one question. Why didn't they do it on the moon?
Why would they need to?
So that they could actually prove it instead of it proving that there is no motion of the earth, that there's only motion of the ether.
Okay, so there's only motion of the ether. So let's talk about that then. What were the measurements that the Michelson-Morley experiment came up with?
It was zero motion of the earth.
That's wrong. That's wrong. That's why I'm telling you you're parroting stuff and you don't know what you're talking about. I've researched that claim, okay? I've read the experiments that how it was done, when it was done. Did you know that they did it on at opposite points in the orbit? Did you know that? Do you know why they did it in opposite points of the orbit?
To try to correct their mistake?
No, not at all. Because they figured the ether doesn't move with the earth, so that the earth would have to be moving through the ether. So in one direction, in 6 months, remember how I told you they're 6 months apart, you're on opposite sides of the sun? When in orbit, you're also going in opposite directions. So when you take a measurement and then you wait, I think they waited either 3 or 4 months so that it wasn't like a perfectly opposite to the way the ether was supposed to be perpetuating this whatever drag that it was supposed to have. Well, that's why they did it at 2 different times, because they knew the earth was going around the sun. The second thing, they didn't measure zero. They measured 4 or 5 different measurements ranging from 1 kilometer a second to 10 kilometers a second. So no matter what you think, the ether's still moving relative to the earth. And because they're a lot smarter than you and I, they knew better than to say, yeah, the earth stands still, it's the ether, and the ether's standing still with it. No, they said that was a null experiment. That was a null result. That result proved that we're not relative, or we don't move through this ether. If there was an ether, it didn't move with the earth. And that was stupid to them because they already knew that the earth goes around the sun.
Do you know when the first globe was created?
Is this just a fucking pick my brain type thing? Because now we're not even talking about shape of the earth or anything like that. You started with the Michelson-Morley, and now that I just told you that, you now want to jump over to some other topic. Address what I said. Address what I said. Address what I said.
What you said is they knew, they were way smarter. They knew.
Yeah,
and
no,
the
science before them.
They did prove that the ether moved and not the earth. Yeah, that's correct.
Jackson, just a second. So, okay, cool. So here's the thing. Let's try and keep this back and forth about as on topic as we can. So when you put out a claim, team will address a claim, and then when team puts out a claim, if we can just keep that going.
I wish I could go by team.
Well, I can call you team if you want.
I don't want to go by team. That's dumb. No offense, team.
You're not the only one that envies me. I would really like you to address what I just said, though, because that's what the Michelson-Morley experiment is all about, not what your flat Earth friend told you or your video.
It proved that the ether moves.
Oh, it proved that the ether does not exist. Do you know how proof works in science? Number one, do you know how proof works in science?
I'm sure you're going to tell me your version.
Oh, I'm about to explain some things to you, okay? Science is not responsible for proving anything. Science disproves bad ideas, like the flat Earth, okay? Scientists don't go out looking to prove that the Earth is round. They know the Earth is round. It's an observable fact. It's an objective fact. It's not subjective.
What's the observation? What's the observation that proves the Earth is round?
I mean, can you see forever? Can you see ships not going over the horizon at any point in time?
Okay.
Can you see a ship that goes out far and far and far away, and you can just continuously look at it, and then you can go, hold on, let me finish. Then you can pull out binoculars and see it more, and then you can set the binoculars down and pull out a telescope and see it more, and then you can put the telescope away and pull out something even stronger and see further? No. It gets to the limit of about a digital camera's a resolution and able to be pulled back into view, and the ship goes completely over the horizon. At that point, any stronger view is not going to bring the ship back into horizon. It's just going to increase the angular size.
It goes out of linear perspective, dude.
Wow, so that's a lot of word salad that you'd like to be putting out, but I'm not somebody that's going to accept your bullshit. So it's not about linear.
Because the human eye can't see
guess
forever.
What?
We don't have infinite
vision. I know, but did you hear what I said to begin with? You can continuously pull something out that increases your angular resolution of what you're seeing. In other words, no matter how far something goes away, you should be able to pull something out that's stronger and see something that's further. Now, I know people out there.
Technology for that.
There's no need for it. You don't see things disappear over the horizon into a dot. You see them go over the horizon bottom first. It'd be different if it went into a dot. Then yes,
when you see someone walk down the street, they also disappear bottom first. Yeah, are they going over the curve too?
It depends on what they're walking on. If they're walking over a bridge, it could be.
If they're walking down a football field and you are sitting on the ground. You watch them walk all the way down the football field. They will disappear bottom first. Are they going over a curve?
Not at that distance, no. Not if you're sitting down on a field, because then you have an elevation off of the ground. The same observable
phenomenon occurs.
Okay, so what you're talking about is like refraction at the ground level, which is where the air is warmest because the ground heats up the atmosphere. Now, do you know how refraction works at close to the
sun heats up the atmosphere?
No, the sun does not heat up the atmosphere. I'm sorry that you're misinformed by that. No, you're wrong. The sun heats up the earth. The atmosphere does not absorb visible light.
So
that's how you can look up and see the sun. Do you not realize that that's how you look?
Then the sun heats up the atmosphere.
No, the sun heats up the earth.
Right. So then by proxy, it heats up the atmosphere.
No, the sun heats up the earth. I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not going to let you get away with bad scientific statements. No, the sun heats up the earth.
Then you're saying that the earth is what heats up the air.
Okay, so
what heats up the earth?
So let me ask you a question, okay? Let me ask you a question. If the earth was covered by snow or ice and was reflecting all the light away, would it be warm still, or would it get really cold?
It would melt.
It would get really fucking cold because it just reflects all the light back into space, and the atmosphere would not heat up. Okay. See, you're not very intelligent when it comes to science, but that's fine. We can still deal with the conversation. But at the same time, what's your next point? When the globes were first made? I don't know, and I don't care. It doesn't matter because it's still a globe in reality.
You seem a little emotional about this, man.
I'm not what are you talking about? You don't follow me, that's fine. This is how I am.
No,
I'm actually being nice and easy to you, okay? Believe me.
How do you explain the high altitude balloons that show an eye level horizon? That the horizon raises to the level of the observer, no matter how high you go.
that's not correct either. These are just facts that you're saying that you're claiming without any evidence whatsoever.
I know that I can put a ruler up to the window of the plane, and I can see the horizon at my eye level. Yeah. And I've taken a level. I've taken a level on a plane.
When you say at eye level, what the fuck do you mean by that? Do you know how dumb what you just said was? But go ahead and explain to me how you get eye level on a plane when you're looking at a ruler in a window. I would love to hear your amazing pinpoint accuracy and the ability to keep your eyes at perfectly 90 degrees to the pull of gravity. I would love that. Please demonstrate it.
The horizon when I fly on a plane is at the midpoint of the window, and I stay it no matter how high we go. I watch from the time that we take off.
Wow.
From the time that we take off, it stays stationary at the exact same spot. I have taped a fucking ruler.
How much should it drop? So you should know these things, right? Hold on. No. You should know these things. No, it does. It does. You just don't know what you're doing. You're saying, look, I'm looking at the top of a ruler. I don't care. I don't care what you did with it taping a ruler. How would you have known whether it dropped behind it or not? Okay, so you're telling me now you put the ruler right up to the horizon, right? And you kept your eyes just perfect. Didn't move them not one time, because any movement is you're never going to be able to get perfectly back where you were at, right? Or are you just some kind of superhuman that's better than all of us? Right. Your experiment was dumb to begin with. I am
superhuman in a lot of ways.
Your experiment was dumb to begin with. I don't care what you think you saw. You didn't do anything. You didn't take any markings. You didn't document it whatsoever. You just said, I saw this, and you think that that's going to work with a person like me? No, I want to see evidence. My friends produce evidence. I believe my friends more than I just believe some guy who says, I went up in a plane, taped a ruler to the window, and saw it for myself.
You're just some guy to me, and those are all just some guy to you. Those are all just some guy to me.
The thing is that they have evidence. They have evidence. You don't. They have evidence. You don't. You just
have my own personal observable
You have an anecdotal experience. That's it. You used your personal eyes and think you're going to be able to do it like that. They're using professional equipment. Sorry, bud, but you're out of your league.
Have you looked at?
Out of your league.
All right, guys. So that's where we're going to end it today. If you'd like to check out more, head over to www.rockmetaltalk.com. A special shout out to the Plot Hole, who has had me on his podcast twice, and both times I had a blast. A massive thank you goes out to all of my channel members and patrons, like the Plot Hole, whose support helps me keep doing what I love to do, calling out idiots on the internet. I'm Team Skeptic, and I'm out.